Roblox NFL Universe, showdown, Longhorns versus Devils, who will reign supreme? The stage is set for an electrifying clash in Roblox NFL Universe as the Longhorns and the Devils prepare to battle it out for gridiron glory. Fans from both sides are eagerly anticipating the matchup, with predictions flying and rivalries heating up in what promises to be an unforgettable contest. The week leading up to the Longhorns showdown with the Devils felt less like a countdown and more like a slow, agonizing descent into the crucible of a season-defining game. For the Longhorns, the weight of expectation pressed down like a physical burden. Their star quarterback, Jake the Hammer Hamilton, felt it most acutely. His usually steely gaze held a flicker of uncertainty, the ghost of several subpar performances haunting his every throw. The whispers started subtly, a low hum of doubt that grew louder with each interception, each errant pass. Jake, the man who had carried the Longhorns on his broad shoulders for the past 3 seasons, was faltering. His usually laser-like focus felt scattered, his usually iron confidence eroded by the gnawing self-doubt that threatened to consume him. The pressure wasn't just external, the relentless media scrutiny, the expectations of the fervent Longhorn faithful. It was internal, a battle fought within the confines of his own mind. He'd spend hours alone on the practice field, the late afternoon sun casting long shadows across the gridiron as he replayed missed throws, each failure a stark reminder of the monumental task ahead. His coach, the legendary grizzled veteran, Coach Miller, saw it. He saw the subtle slump in Jake's shoulders, the almost imperceptible hesitation in his movements. He knew the weight Jake carried, the burden of leadership, the expectation to deliver victory in the face of adversity. He'd seen it before, witnessed the toll the pressure took on even the most resilient players. But Coach Miller was a master strategist, and he knew that breaking through Jake's mental barrier would be as critical as any X's and O's on the game plan. Across town, the Devils were facing a different kind of pressure. Their star linebacker, Marcus the Mauler Riley, was grappling with a personal crisis that threatened to unravel his on-field prowess. His father, a man who had instilled in him the unwavering discipline and ferocity that made him a force to be reckoned with, was critically ill. The news had struck Marcus like a lightning bolt, jarring him from the carefully constructed world of football strategy and intense physical training. His focus, usually razor-sharp, wavered. Practice felt like a meaningless ritual, a stark contrast to the desperate urgency he felt for his father's well-being. The stadium lights, usually a source of motivation, now seemed to mock him, casting long, somber shadows that mirrored the darkness in his heart. The contrast between the two teams couldn't have been more stark. The Longhorns, a team of individual stars striving for collective glory, were burdened by internal strife, their star quarterback battling self-doubt. The Devils, a tightly knit unit known for their unwavering unity and relentless teamwork, were now fractured, their inspirational leader grappling with the fragility of life beyond the gridiron. The week of preparation was less a period of strategic refinement and more a battle against their own internal demons. Practices were tense, the air thick with the unspoken anxieties. For the Longhorns, it was a tense dance between pushing their limits and avoiding a complete mental breakdown. For the Devils, it was a struggle to maintain their cohesion, to keep their unity from fraying under the strain of Marcus's personal tragedy. The weight of expectation pressed down on both teams, but the nature of their burdens was different, mirroring their distinct identities and the internal battles they each waged. The media frenzy was a relentless storm, a constant barrage of questions and speculations fueling the already charged atmosphere. Jake found himself facing a torrent of inquiries about his recent performances, each question a tiny hammer blow, chipping away at his already fragile confidence. His answers were clipped, his responses guarded, each word carefully chosen to avoid revealing the turmoil raging within. Marcus, on the other hand, navigated the media storm with an almost stoic resilience. He offered brief, polite responses, his face carefully controlled, masking the deep emotional turmoil that threatened to overwhelm him. The public saw a warrior, unwavering in his commitment, but behind the facade lay a son facing the heartbreaking reality of his father's illness. The pressure on him wasn't just to win a game, it was to be strong, to be the rock for his family, even as his own world crumbled around him. The city of Austin was a pressure cooker, its usually vibrant energy simmering with a nervous anticipation. Fans, normally boisterous and confident, moved with a subdued energy, their usual exuberance tempered by a palpable sense of foreboding. The weight of the upcoming game cast a long shadow over the city, its looming presence felt in every conversation, every news report, every anxious glance exchanged between fans. The stadium, usually a beacon of energy and excitement, was now a silent giant, its vast emptiness filled only with the echo of their unspoken hopes and fears. The week culminated in a tense practice session for the Longhorns. Jake, after a particularly disastrous series of throws, threw his helmet to the ground in frustration, the metallic clang echoing through the quiet stadium. Coach Miller watched calmly, then walked over, not to scold, but to understand. The ensuing conversation was less a coaching session and more a therapeutic exchange, a carefully orchestrated attempt to coax Jake out of the mental quagmire that threatened to engulf him. It was a reminder that, beyond the X's and O's, the game was about the human spirit, about resilience, and about finding the strength to face down your own inner demons. Similarly, the Devils' practice was a subdued affair, the usually infectious energy replaced by a somber gravity. Marcus, despite his obvious distress, held the team together, his determination to honor his father's legacy fueling his performance. His presence was a silent testament to the power of unwavering resolve, a beacon of strength for his teammates in the face of adversity. As the game loomed ever closer, the shadows of doubt and uncertainty hung heavy over both teams, each facing their own unique challenges in their preparation for the ultimate showdown. The city, along with both teams, held its breath, anticipating the clash of titans. The roar of the crowd was deafening as the referee tossed the coin high into the air. The stadium lights, a constellation of incandescent brilliance, reflected in the sweat-slicked brows of the players, each a coiled spring of muscle and adrenaline. The initial kickoff was a blur of motion, a chaotic ballet of colliding bodies and flying limbs. Longhorns quarterback, a seasoned veteran with eyes as cold as steel, took the snap, his arm a blur as he released the ball, a perfect spiral arcing through the air towards his receiver. The crowd held its breath, a collective gasp escaping as the receiver made the catch, a breathtaking display of athleticism amidst a chaotic scramble of defensive players. The stadium erupted, a tidal wave of sound that crashed against the walls and resonated in the chests of those within. The first quarter unfolded like a chess match played at breakneck speed, each team carefully probing for weaknesses, each play a calculated risk. The Devils' defense, a formidable wall of muscle and aggression, initially stymied the Longhorns' offensive onslaught, forcing punts and frustrating drives. But the Longhorns' offensive line, a unit renowned for their power and precision, gradually began to dominate the line of scrimmage, opening gaps for their running backs to exploit. The ground game started to churn, yards accumulating steadily, a relentless march towards the end zone. The crowd, a sea of crimson and black, surged with every gained yard, their collective energy fueling the team's advance. The Devils responded with their own brand of controlled aggression, their quarterback, a young prodigy with an arm cannon for a right arm, launching pinpoint passes that stretched the Longhorns' secondary to its limits. His passes were works of art, each throw calculated to perfection, finding receivers in tight coverage with seemingly impossible accuracy. He showed surprising mobility as well, making several crucial runs that kept drives alive, his talent dazzling the watching crowd. His presence was a constant threat, a force of nature that kept the Longhorns' defense on their toes. The score remained close, a tense back-and-forth battle that kept the stadium on the edge of its collective seat. The second quarter saw the game escalate into a thrilling display of offensive prowess. Both teams traded blows, each scoring touchdown after touchdown. The Longhorns' running back, a human battering ram with surprising agility, consistently broke tackles, churning out yardage with relentless determination. His runs were punctuated by the sound of crunching pads, a rhythmic percussion that echoed through the stadium. Each time he broke a tackle, a collective roar erupted, a wave of appreciation for his brute force and determination. The crowd went wild with every near touchdown run. The Devils responded with breathtaking passing plays, their quarterback using his pinpoint accuracy and his surprising footwork to keep drives alive against a suffocating Longhorns defense. The roar of the crowd was deafening, a wave of sound that crashed over the stadium, a testament to the intensity of the game. The tension was palpable, a thick, suffocating blanket that hung heavy in the air. Every player on the field, every coach on the sideline, every fan in the stands felt the weight of the moment, the pressure immense, the stakes impossibly high. The score remained stubbornly close, a testament to the evenly matched teams, the fierce competition, the unrelenting pursuit of victory. Both teams had fought tooth and nail, each play a brutal clash of wills, each drive a test of endurance. Then, with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, came the play that would define the game, the moment that would forever alter its course. It wasn't a meticulously planned strategy, nor a flawlessly executed play. Instead, it was a moment of raw, unadulterated chaos, a flash of brilliance born from desperation. The Devils, trailing by a single touchdown, faced a fourth and long situation, their backs against the wall. Their quarterback, the young prodigy, with the weight of the game resting on his shoulders, stared down the Longhorns' defense, his eyes blazing with determination. The stadium held its breath, a collective gasp of anticipation hanging in the air. He called an audible at the line of scrimmage, a last-ditch effort, a gamble with high stakes. The play was a Hail Mary, a desperate attempt to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. He dropped back, surveying the field, his eyes scanning for an opening, a sliver of opportunity amidst the chaos. The Longhorns' defense, a wall of muscle and determination, pressed forward, their eyes locked on the quarterback, their bodies poised to strike. The quarterback, sensing the pressure, stepped up into the pocket, his body a coiled spring, his arm a whip. He launched the ball, a projectile of hope and desperation arcing high above the field, a silent prayer suspended in time. The ball hung in the air, suspended between hope and despair, a microcosm of the game itself. Time seemed to slow down, stretching out into an eternity as the ball traveled, a seemingly impossible trajectory, a testament to the quarterback's arm strength and the desperation of the moment. The crowd watched, mesmerized, silent, their eyes glued to the spiraling projectile. Even the players on the field seemed to freeze, their movements slowing to a glacial pace, their breaths held captive in their chests. Then, a flash of movement. A figure emerged from the swirling mass of bodies, a silhouette against the bright stadium lights. It was the Longhorns' free safety, a veteran player known for his uncanny instincts and exceptional speed. He had anticipated the play, sensed the desperation in the Devils' quarterback's eyes, read the trajectory of the ball with an almost preternatural accuracy. With a graceful leap, he snagged the ball out of the air, his fingers closing around it with an almost violent intensity. The stadium exploded in a wave of sound, a deafening roar of approval and disbelief. The ball was in the Longhorns' hands. The interception was more than just a play. It was a watershed moment, a turning point that shattered the balance of the game. The momentum, which had shifted back and forth throughout the contest, now swung decisively in favor of the Longhorns. The Devils' offense, fueled by desperation earlier, now visibly deflated. Their shoulders slumped, their heads hung low, the air of confidence that had once surrounded them dissipated, replaced by a palpable sense of defeat. The Clash of Titans wasn't just a game, it was a battle of wills, a test of endurance, a testament to the human spirit's capacity for resilience and determination. The coaches, masters of strategy, made crucial decisions under immense pressure, each call a gamble with potentially game-altering consequences. Timeouts were used sparingly, each one a moment of intense strategic planning. The coaches huddled together, their faces etched with focus, plotting their next move. Their decisions were not just calculated, but also deeply intuitive, informed by years of experience, a feeling for the game that was almost supernatural. The halftime whistle brought a temporary reprieve, a brief pause in the intensity. The crowd surged to their feet, a mass of humanity stretching and swaying, releasing the pent-up energy that had filled the stadium for the past 2 quarters. The teams retreated to their respective locker rooms, a moment of quiet reflection before returning to the fray. Players received quick instructions, water bottles were gulped down, and the strategies for the second half were hammered home. But the air in the locker rooms was electric, the sense of anticipation as intense as ever. The second half commenced with the same intensity as the first. The momentum, however, began to shift subtly in favor of the Longhorns. Their offensive line continued its dominance, opening up running lanes with brutal efficiency. Their quarterback, despite facing intense pressure, made several clutch throws, keeping drives alive with his uncanny ability to read the defense. His accuracy was a sight to behold, each pass falling perfectly into the hands of his receivers, defying the gravity of the intense atmosphere. The strategic decisions of the Longhorns coach were starting to pay off, his adjustments effectively neutralizing the Devils' offensive threats. The Devils, though formidable, began to show signs of fatigue, their plays becoming less precise, their defense becoming slightly less effective. The crowd, sensing the shift in momentum, roared its approval, their cheers a tangible force that propelled the Longhorns forward. The final quarter was a nail-biting affair, a back-and-forth struggle with both teams giving their all. The Devils, refusing to concede defeat, mounted several impressive drives, keeping the game within reach. But the Longhorns, driven by their relentless momentum and the fervent support of their fans, proved to be too powerful. Their defense, though tested, stood firm, making crucial stops when they mattered most. In the final moments, with the clock ticking down, the Longhorns sealed their victory with a final decisive touchdown. The stadium erupted in a deafening roar, a wave of celebration that washed over the field, engulfing players and fans alike. The Longhorns had won, securing a hard-fought, well-deserved victory. Confetti rained down from the stands, a kaleidoscope of color celebrating the culmination of months of hard work, dedication, and relentless training. The Clash of Titans had concluded, leaving behind a legacy of unforgettable plays and moments of incredible athleticism. The city, which had held its breath for 2 hours of intense competition, finally exhaled, a collective sigh of relief and jubilation echoing through the streets long after the final whistle had blown. The Longhorns had emerged victorious, but the memory of the battle, the Clash of Titans, would live on in the hearts and minds of all who witnessed it, a legend recounted and retold for generations to come. The final whistle blew, a sharp, decisive sound cutting through the reverberating cheers of the Longhorns fans and the stunned silence of the Devils supporters. Confetti rained down from the stadium ceiling, a vibrant shower of celebration. The players poured onto the field, a joyous melee of hugs and high fives, their bodies drenched in sweat and emotion. Tears flowed freely, tears of joy, tears of relief, tears of exhaustion. The victory was hard-earned, a testament to their unwavering commitment, their collective resilience, their unyielding spirit. The Longhorns had won, 38-24, a victory that transcended the numbers on the scoreboard. It was a victory forged in the fires of adversity, a testament to the power of perseverance, a celebration of the indomitable human spirit. The game was over, but the memories, the lessons learned, the emotions experienced, they would linger long after the stadium lights had dimmed and the crowd had dispersed. The scene shifted to the Longhorns' locker room, a haven of jubilation and exhaustion. The air was thick with the scent of sweat, liniment, and victory. Players collapsed onto benches, their bodies spent, but their spirits soaring. Marcus Johnson, his face flushed with triumph, leaned against the wall, a quiet smile playing on his lips. The pain in his knee was a dull ache, insignificant compared to the overwhelming sense of accomplishment. He had overcome the odds, not just in this game, but in his entire journey. His return from injury was no longer a story of rehabilitation. It was a testament to his mental toughness and unrelenting determination. Javier Rodriguez sat quietly in a corner, his eyes closed, a small smile playing on his lips. The memory of the interception, the crucial play that had sealed the victory, brought a wave of emotion, a mix of relief, pride, and gratitude. He had not only triumphed over his opponent, but also over his own personal demons. His grief transformed into a driving force, a tribute to the unwavering strength of his spirit. Coach Miller, his voice hoarse from shouting instructions, surveyed his victorious team with a mixture of pride and relief. He knew that this victory wasn't just about the game itself. It was about the players, their journeys, their sacrifices, their unwavering belief in themselves and in each other. He had witnessed their struggles, their triumphs, and their unwavering determination, and he had seen them rise above adversity, proving that the true measure of a person or a team lay not just in victory, but in the unrelenting pursuit of excellence. The Devils' locker room, in stark contrast, was a place of quiet disappointment. The players sat slumped on the benches, their faces etched with exhaustion and regret. Ethan Davis, his usually bright eyes dimmed with defeat, spoke words of encouragement to his teammates, reminding them of the hard-fought battles, the close calls, the progress they'd made throughout the season. The feeling was that they had lost a battle, but the war had not yet ended. There were still opportunities to prove their mettle and rise again. He would not allow defeat to define their season. He knew they had already demonstrated an exceptional level of skill and resilience. Ricardo Alvarez, despite the pain in his body, sat with a quiet dignity. He had given his all, pushing himself to the limit, demonstrating his unyielding spirit. He knew that in this sport, defeat was part of the game. It was about learning and growing, coming back stronger and more resilient. The loss did not diminish his achievements and the struggles he had overcome. The night ended, but the story continued. The memories of the game, the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat, the unwavering spirit displayed by all who played. It would remain a potent reminder of the power of resilience, the beauty of the struggle, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. The battle on the gridiron was over, but the fight continued in every heart, every mind, every soul, inspired by the clash of titans they had witnessed that night under the stadium lights. The echoes of that epic encounter would resonate for years to come, a powerful testament to the enduring spirit of sport and the profound human story that unfolds within each game. The clock ticked down, each second echoing like a hammer blow against the taut nerves of the stadium. The score was tied, 24-24, a stalemate forged in the crucible of relentless attacks and desperate defenses. The air crackled with anticipation, a palpable energy that vibrated through the stands, a silent prayer rising from the throats of tens of thousands of fans. The Longhorns, fueled by adrenaline and the unwavering belief in their collective strength, huddled once more, their breaths misting in the crisp night air. Coach Miller, his face a mask of grim determination, barked final instructions, his voice a low growl barely audible above the roar of the crowd. The weight of the season, the hopes of an entire city, rested on their shoulders, a burden they seemed to wear with quiet confidence. Marcus, the Hammer Johnson, his eyes locked on the coach, felt a familiar surge of adrenaline, a potent cocktail of fear and exhilaration. The knee injury, a phantom pain that had haunted him for weeks, was forgotten. This was it, the culmination of months of sweat, tears, and unwavering dedication. This was his moment. The memory of his grueling rehabilitation, the endless hours spent rebuilding his strength, fueled his resolve. He wouldn't let his team down. Not now, not ever. Across the field, Ethan "the Comet" Davis, the Devils' quarterback, felt the pressure tightening its grip, a vice around his chest. The weight of expectation, the scrutiny of the media, the disappointment of a near-miss season. It all coalesced into a single, overwhelming force. But he refused to yield. He had come too far, fought too hard to crumble now. His teammates, their faces etched with a mixture of hope and apprehension, looked to him for guidance, their trust a silent but powerful force. He raised his hand, signaling the play, his voice calm and reassuring in the midst of the maelstrom. The snap, the roar of the crowd swelled to a deafening crescendo. Davis, a blur of motion, evaded a blitzing linebacker, his footwork a ballet of precision and power. He scanned the field, his eyes darting, searching for an opening, a sliver of hope amidst the chaos. He saw a flash of blue, Javier the Falcon Rodriguez, the Longhorns' free safety, positioned perfectly to intercept any long pass. A gamble, a Hail Mary. His arm cocked, a slingshot poised to unleash its projectile. The ball soared, a white speck against the darkening sky, defying gravity, defying expectations, a testament to the raw power of human will. Time seemed to slow, stretching out into an eternity as the ball arced through the air. Rodriguez, his eyes following the trajectory, reacted instantly, his body a coiled spring, his instincts honed to razor sharpness. He leaped, a graceful predator snatching its prey from the air, his fingers closing around the leather. The crowd erupted, a tidal wave of sound, as the interception sealed the Devils' fate. The final seconds ticked away, each one a painful reminder of the lost opportunity. The Devils' defense, their resolve unbroken, threw themselves into one last desperate attempt to break through, but the Longhorns' line held firm, an impenetrable wall against the onslaught. Ricardo "The Rock" Alvarez, the Devils' linebacker, despite the defeat, continued to fight, his every tackle a testament to his unyielding spirit. He left everything he had on the field, his body aching, his heart heavy, but his spirit unbroken. He had fought the good fight, and that, he knew, was all that mattered.